All right, my first top video going over what happened in the previous year. I'm excited for this one.
Say what again? Say what again? Say what again? Motherfucker, say what again? A bitch.
What's going on, Toller team? And I hope your guys' week has gotten off to a strong start. I've been busy myself, overwhelmingly so, actually, but that's not going to stop me from getting content out to you guys because you've been so supportive of the channel, and I really do appreciate that. All the likes, the comments, the sharing, it's done so much for me, and thank you guys so much for helping me grow as fast as I have in such a short amount of time. If you're new and you just happen to click on this video and you're like, hey, I want to see what this guy thinks about last year, welcome. Come on over to the Toller team. Throw a like, comment, maybe subscribe.
I shouldn't do it.
If you like what you see, I'd really appreciate it, because I'm just a dad that likes movies and I'm trying to do something with it. But anyway, you guys are here for a top 5 of 2023, and I'm extremely excited to talk about this because it's my first time. And here's the thing, I was going to do a top 10. I did that over the weekend. I was supposed to post this, I believe, on Saturday. And the top 10 ended up being like 19, 20 minutes long. And I'm just not there as a content creator yet. So I slimmed it down. We're doing a top 5. I'm going to keep it around the, I don't know, 11, 12 minute marks, somewhere around in there. Because I like to talk a lot. But anyway, top 5, 2023. Let's get into it. Number 5 is Talk to Me. A24 and I have a very rough relationship, especially if the film was directed by Ari Aster, however the hell you say his name. His community, anyway. When I found out that fellow YouTubers Danny and Michael Filippo were directing their own horror film by the name of Talk to Me, I was there. And I'm so glad I saw this film because holy fuck. In a certain way, Talk to Me feels familiar because it's a possession film, and that subgenre has obviously had its fair share of releases over the last 10 years. But this time around, it felt fresh, even if it truly wasn't. And what I mean by that is you see a lot of common themes that you would see in other possession movies. You've got the loss of a family member. You've got the whole social media aspect, which has been done before. You know, where stupid teenagers do crazy shit just to get clicks. And then the actual possession itself. I'm sure you've seen the whole hand thing, but what Talk to Me manages to do is it takes all of those ideas and it just combines them together into this really unique spin. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. In a genre that is very saturated, Talk to Me definitely stood out. And that's why it's my number 5 of 2023. My number 4 is Godzilla Minus One. The film that absolutely fucking nobody saw coming. And just like I admitted in my review, which is up here, I was not a Godzilla fan walking into this. I've always viewed Godzilla the same way that I view Superman, and that he's all powerful, all the time, nothing can stop this thing, and I'm not here for it. But what Godzilla Minus One managed to do was they went back to like the 50s, when Godzilla wasn't this big overarching hero. He was a menace, he was terrifying. And they managed to incorporate something that the American side of the kaiju universe hasn't been able to do, and that's actually making human characters that we give a shit about. So you have these very rampant elements surrounding, we'll just say this group of Japanese people. There's one main character, but ends up being a group, you know, pretty early on in the film. But there's anxiety, there's depression, there's survivor's guilt, there's PTSD. And you have this revenge/redemption arc surrounding one particular character and Godzilla, and it made for an absolutely brilliant composition. So brilliant, in fact, that this film was made on a production budget of about $15 million, and I think it's closing in on $100 million. And let me say this again, nobody saw this coming. I mean, I'm sure the Godzilla fans did, but as far as mass theater, you know, everybody talking about it, it came out of nowhere. And I didn't want to go see it. I heard about it. I didn't want to go and see it, but then I heard everybody talk about how good it was. I said, fuck it. We'll go try this out. I'm not a Godzilla fan. Now I am. And that's why Godzilla Minus One is my number 4 of 2023. Number 3 is When Evil Lurks. It's crazy that 3 foreign films have shown up on my top 5 so far. And yes, Talk to Me does count, by the way. It's Australian. Godzilla Minus One is Japanese. And then When Evil Lurks is Argentinian. And I'm going to admit that I had no clue this film even existed. But thanks to other content creators, especially Cody Leach, he makes really good stuff. I've been following him for a while. I decided to actually check this thing out, and holy hell am I glad I did. Because When Evil Lurks is possibly the most tense film I've seen in a very long time. And it's not just about the tension, it's how they cut it, how things just abruptly happen. Because in this film, a lot of the old horror rules, yeah, they get broken. And When Evil Lurks, it is a possession film. I know it's the second possession film to show up. But what they managed to do is there's this unique spin on possession and how it operates. But it's also this pseudo character study of this father who has a very troubled past and he's trying to work beyond that. And then all this shit starts going down. And he tries to protect his family, he tries to protect his son, he tries to protect his friends. And he just keeps running into more shit and more shit and more shit. And we get to see him. I guess you could say he grows and then he doesn't. And that leads obviously to the results of the events that transpired. And not going to spoil anything, but just know that the possession in this is very interesting. But watching this dad is even more interesting. And that's why When Evil Lurks, my number 3. Number 2 is Oppenheimer. I battled back and forth with 1 and 2 because they're very similar in length. The thing that knocked Oppenheimer from being my number 1 is what they managed to do with the length.
That's what she said.
And the ability to rewatch the film. But what can I say about this film that everybody else hasn't said? The acting, the score, the direction, the cinematography, it's just, all of it is gorgeous. Christopher Nolan creates a masterclass in Oppenheimer on how to make a cinematic experience. So we're following the story of Robert J. Oppenheimer, who is the father of the atomic bomb. And so we get to see all the build up to that. And then the last fourth of the film, we get to see the repercussions, the emotionality of not only building the atomic bomb, but knowing what it did. And as far as the acting goes, everything you've heard, yeah, it's all true. Cillian Murphy has the best performance I've seen in a very, very long time.
The world will remember this day.
And then he's backed up by Florence Pugh. And then icing on the cake is Robert Downey Jr. He didn't even need to be in this movie. He was brilliant. He was great. Awesome performance. But just knowing that he's in this film and he adds that extra layer of emotionality to what happened with Oppenheimer and just the mental issues he's going through with what he did. That's why it's my number 2. And my number 1 is John Wick 4. I absolutely adore when they take a long-standing franchise and they end it. Instead of, drag it on for 20 years because of money. Nope, the end of the story. It's done. Finished. And in the 4th installment, we see John Wick chasing down members of the High Table all across the world, like as in Japan and Paris, and he just ends up finding himself facing off against the Marquis and of course a team of us. It's John Wick. There's going to be assassins in this, but don't get me wrong. There's a lot of bullets flying and punches being thrown. There's kicking. People get hit by cars, pulling up their suits and taking an ungodly amount of bullets. All that happens in John Wick 4, just like it did in the previous films. But it's still very beautifully shot. As a matter of fact, the best one-shot, which is one-shot is essentially a long, continuous take, no stopping. The best one I've seen in recent memories in John Wick 4. Hill House is close. That one episode, the funeral scene, I believe it was, in Hill House, and the transition to the old house, all of that was great. But in John Wick 4, they do this over-the-top camera style. Like, think about the old Grand Theft Auto games, or what is it called? Hotline Miami, I believe it is. But they do this over-the-top camera view of John Wick and the shotgun doing what he does. And it is seamless. It is so smooth. You don't even know what's going on. You're just sitting there staring at the screen going, holy shit. And speaking of holy shit, obviously John Wick is played by Keanu Reeves. He does what he does. Shout out to the homie Keanu. And then Bill Skarsgård is the main villain, the Marquis, and he employs Donnie Yen's character, Kane, who's this blind assassin, and he wants him to go and track down John Wick 4. Marquis uses his family again. And there's a whole thing. But anyway, Donnie Yen's character is the one that's chasing after John Wick. And everyone's performance was fantastic. As a matter of fact, I think there's going to be a spinoff that has Donnie Yen's character in it, if I'm not mistaken. It's called Ballerina. I can't remember what it's about. Is it going to be a show or a movie? I'm going to have to look into that. That comes out this summer. And I hope he's in it. I hope he's in quite a bit of it, because his character was inarguably the most fun and entertaining to watch. But with that being said, all those factors, that's why John Wick is my #1 film of 2023. So do you agree with my list? Yeah, agree, disagree? Remember, this is just my opinion, okay? I'm not saying these are objectively the best films of 2023 or these movies made the most money. No. Don't be an asshole, okay? This is my list, okay? This is my list. And feel free, down in the comments, agree, disagree. Let me know what your favorite film of 2023 is, because I like having these discussions as long as people aren't cockholes. Anyway, I appreciate y'all for checking out my video. I'll talk to y'all later. Hey, whoa. Real quick, if you like what you heard, or maybe you didn't, or at the very least you think I have the best button downs on YouTube, do me a favor, throw a like up there. Maybe comment down below about how much I suck. I don't fucking care. And, if you feel extra special, sub if you want to listen to me talk some shit in the near future. Anyway, I appreciate y'all for stopping by, and I'll talk to you later.